Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Bandai Tamashii Nation's S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball GT figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at Kid Goku. Now I got mine from Nin-Nin Game. I have popped a link to their site in the description below, but for full transparency it is an affiliate link. Any commission earned will be reinvested back into the channel and put towards making new content. If you are heading down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Z or GT figure review goes live on the channel. Right off the bat, I'm loving this cute mini little Figuarts box. It's a teeny tiny box for a mini Goku. Around the front, we've got an open window showcasing him and all of his accessories inside. A full color image of him with his alternative hairpiece on doing a Kamehameha, and then a bunch of grayscale shots on the side of the box. There's also one on the front cover, plus around the back, more figure photography showcasing various poses and his accessories. I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball GT fan out there. I mean, I like certain parts of it, such as Super Saiyan 4, of course. But I've got fond memories of watching this as a kid growing up, so yeah, I had to cop myself this miniaturized version of Grandpa Goku. First in-hand impressions for him? Yeah, so far so good. His body is very small and his head is massive, which is pretty accurate actually. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. I would really like to be able to say starting off with the display base first, but unfortunately he doesn't have one, which is a darn shame too, because their round footprint base mold would have been perfect for Dragon Ball GT themed Black Star Dragon Ball base. At the very least, we get an effect part, so I can't complain too much. He does come with two different hairpieces, one normal and the other windswept. We'll try out both of these on him a little bit later. But he also comes with two different rubbery skirt pieces. The same setup with the hair actually, one normal and one windswept. This has got to be the smallest Kamehameha blast effect that I've ever seen. But it's appropriately Kid Goku sized. If this was any bigger, it simply wouldn't fit in his hands properly. These spikies are on ball joints, and you do have to install them out of the box. They feel a little bit flimsy, so make sure you're grabbing them at the bottom before you try and insert them into the ports they're meant to slot into. Speaking of ports, we do have a peg port around the back, and that's so that you can plug this into his open palm hands with the pegs on them. So you don't just have to rely on friction to keep this in place, it actually plugs into his hands and sits there nice and securely. I like every single one of these faceplates. They're all very expressive. It just goes to show you that Goku's got a decent amount of range. He goes from this happy-go-lucky kid to an absolute badass with the open-mouth screaming faceplate. We will be trying out all four of them on the body with both of the different hair pieces when we get Goku out here. And lastly, a full array of hands, ranging from these open palm hands with the pegs sticking out of the palms, to fingers splayed out key blasting hands, to fingers curled in semi-gripping hands, to more Kamehameha hands, this time without the pegs on the palms, Goku's signature fighting stance martial arts pose hands. Finally, out of the box, he comes with two closed fists already installed on the body. What we're going to do now is get Goku himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. From the moment I opened the box for this guy, I was grinning ear to ear. Like for real, this is such a nostalgic little figure for me. He may be tiny, but he packs a punch. Awesome faceplates, solid articulation, great proportions, and so much frickin' fun. Taking off my nostalgia hat for a second and putting my figure reviewer one on, he does have his flaws, but luckily none of them are figure breaking. And if you're a Dragon Ball GT fan or you're a 90s kid like me, or both, you'll probably be able to look past the things he doesn't do well and focus only on the good stuff. Long story short, there's a lot to like here. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Goku's first faceplate. This guy is so freaking small, man. This is the smallest figure I've ever reviewed on the channel. Usually, I like to start off this segment by keeping my hands out of the shot and just having the figure take up the full frame. And I tried to do it with this. It simply was impossible because of how small he is. That doesn't mean he's a bad figure or that he's fiddly, because he isn't. He feels surprisingly sturdy. This faceplate almost reminds me of original Dragon Ball Goku. Granted, the hair is different, there's also a lot of definition with the sculpted line work. Still, that's the vibe I'm getting, so every now and then I will rock the smiling, wide open eye faceplate for Dragon Ball GT Goku. This is the one that I'm probably going to keep coming back to. It's going to be displayed on him most of the time because it captures the essence of a much smaller adult Goku, because that's what he is. He's not really a kid, he's still himself, but he's been shrunk down to a much more bite-sized size. Anyway, the eyes are very sharp, the printing is great all the way around for the lines underneath them and the lines behind the eyebrows. They've outlined the mouth too, which isn't something they used to do back in the day. I'm glad to see that black line there, because if it wasn't, the mouth would pretty much be invisible. Dude, it just keeps getting better and better. This faceplate is sick, man, with the lines in between the eyebrows giving him this really serious furrowed brow look and the gritted teeth. Yeah, I may just walk back on my comments from before saying I'm going to go with the neutral serious one, because this on the body just looks dope. I can already tell this guy's going to be so much fun to pose, and it's thanks in part to the super expressive faceplates. Even the neutral ones have some attitude going on. You've probably already noticed by now that all of the faceplates are compatible with the normal hairpiece, and that means that they're also going to be compatible with the windswept ones, so yeah, let's give that a go. Okay, it fits. It could work depending on the pose you're going for. Not something that I'm ever going to do with my kid Goku. This isn't half bad. The windswept hairpiece is meant for more dynamic poses. I think that was the intention behind them including it in the box. Still, for a stoic pose with his hair just billowing off in the wind combined with this belt tassel piece going the same way, yeah, I don't mind the way this looks at all. Oh, hell yes. This now looks like he's charging up, getting ready to transform. And while we're on the subject of transformation, why did they not include a Super Saiyan hairpiece and alternative faceplates? Maybe they plan to do a 2.0 version of this Goku sometime in the future. Favorite combination so far, windswept hairpiece and the wide open mouth angry faceplate. I didn't mention this before, but they've even painted right up the back inside the mouth there. I'm going to need your help. Let me know down in the comments below which combination has been your favorite so far. Now that everything's sort of back to normal, I went with the serious faceplate instead of the smiling one. Let's discuss the body. We're not going to be here long because I know I've already said this a couple of times, but the figure is quite petite. His neck is skinny, but that's accurate to the Dragon Ball GT art style. He's got some pec definition up top, rounded shoulders, and you can see some muscle tone for his biceps. I don't love the elbow joints, especially this one that's splitting, and because of how glossy they are compared to the matte finish for pretty much everything else except for the sash around his waist. Not a deal breaker by any means, and if it bothers you, you can just bend the elbows and then from the front you can't even see those ugly joints. There is a skin tone mismatch between the pecs and everything else, all of the other exposed skin pieces such as the faceplate, the neck, the upper arms, the forearms, and the hands. And that's because that stuff is cast in skin tone plastic, whereas this is painted. If only they'd have gone with a separate insert for the pecs, and then another separate piece for the shirt. I know it's small, but I reckon they could have done it. Then there wouldn't have been a mismatch at all. This color scheme just seems like it would be a clash fest. but it isn't. It is busy with the blue and the glossy white, then the matte white and the black for the shoes, and the yellow pants with the darker orange shading over the top, plus the pink wristbands. Somehow it works for me. I don't know why. I've always adored this color scheme for Goku. I am curious to hear your thoughts on this outfit. Do weigh in down in the comments. It's worth noting that the legs aren't painted around the back. The darker orange shading is only around the front. There is one more swap out piece for us to try out, and it's his windswept belt area. That's a really nice little swap out to have. It's not 100% necessary because the skirt piece is already soft enough anyway for the normal draping one, so that it will get out of the way of the legs for dynamic poses. But with this, you're not putting any stress on that rubbery material. You can get the legs to go way further forward before they start to collide with this skirt piece at all. The tassels are articulated. This is just plugged in on a mushroom peg. And that also goes for the other skirt piece. The tassel is plugged in the exact same way. Before we move on, I quickly wanted to try out the Kamehameha blast effect. I have placed the peg port around the back, and that's where it's plugged into this hand. But you can flip it round and have it plugged into the front hand if you want. It's just down to personal preference. So this one's a regular open palm hand. All of the spikes sticking out of it are on ball joints, so you can get them out of the way of both his body and his head sculpt. For a quick side-by-side comparison, what a difference. It's a bit difficult to believe that this is supposed to be the same person, right? On the left, we've got itty-bitty pint-sized Goku, and on the right, a beast of a figure in Super Saiyan 4. At the time of filming this video, SS4 is currently available and in stock with Nin-Nin Game. I've popped an affiliate link for him in the description below. He towers over the kid version of himself, which is perfect. The scaling to me looks bang on. Going over articulation, starting off with his head sculpt. It's on a ball joint at the base of the neck and a double ball peg up underneath the head itself. Combined, looking forward to there, looking up to there, just enough range for a convincing flight pose, swivel, and tons of pivot side to side. The way they've done the arms is pretty weird. They're on hinges. They allow the arms to go up and down. Then for forward and back, they're plugged in at the shoulders on ball joints. That acts as a butterfly that also hinges up and down. Single bend at the elbow that gives you a teeny bit of swivel. And then for the wrist pegs, it's a hinge and swivel. The torso is on a ball joint going forward to there, going back to there, swivel, and pivot side to side. The skirt is quite rubbery and it's split, so it shouldn't get in your way too much, going forward to there for the legs, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. There's a massive hinge for the knees, it's a single bend. They've cut away just enough plastic from the thigh and then this bottom part of the leg around the back so that you will get it to bend just past 90. For the ankles, a hinge and swivel plugged in at an angle, good for forward and back rotation as well as ankle tilt. And lastly, toe articulation. Wrapping up on Dragon Ball GT Goku. Seeing as though Dragon Ball Daima is about to go full-on GT 2.0 essentially by making everyone kids this time, this little figure makes even more sense to me. He's more relevant now than ever is what I'm trying to say. The color scheme is probably going to put those of you off that haven't seen GT. And if you have and you still don't like it, then yeah, totally understand. This figure is a safe pass. The classic blue and orange gi cannot be beaten. It's too iconic. This, on the other hand, isn't. For some. For me, I grew up during Dragon Ball GT's original TV run, and I just so happened to dig the way this looks. The greenish End of Z outfit, which is similar to this, also ranks pretty highly for me. Maybe I'm just a fan of non-traditional looks for Kakarot, who knows. The word I keep coming back to describe this figure is fun. Great to pose, small enough to take anywhere, and the faceplate slap. They're just really expressive. So if you're asking me whether he's a cop or not, definitely a cop. Now, I got mine from Nin-Nin Game. I have popped an affiliate link to their site in the description below. And one for Super Saiyan 4 Goku as well. As always, any commission earned will be reinvested back into the channel and put towards making new content. While you're down in the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.